6:15 p.m. This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. The news edited by Lakshman Fonseca and read by Geethanjali Ramnaika. The headlines. The government focuses on removing the STF from highway duties. Minister Mahinda Amaravira says prompt actions is being taken to promote rubber cultivation in Sri Lanka. Tomorrow marks the 19th anniversary of the 2004 Boxing Day tsunami. 14 Sri Lankan nationals repatriated from the French island of Reunion. The Sri Pada pilgrim season will commence tomorrow. And UNICEF says Gaza has become a graveyard for thousands of children. The government focuses on removing Police Special Task Force from highway duties. The matter was taken into consideration at a meeting convened recently at the Presidential Secretariat chaired by Sagala Ratnayaka, Senior Advisor to the President in National Security and the Chief of the Presidential Staff. The conversation delved into the possibility of reassigning highway duties for another unit until withdrawing the STF from its duties. The participants explored the creation of an alternative system to handle these responsibilities. Chief of Presidential Staff Sagala Ratnayaka emphasized the need for a special program, urging the Chief of Defence Staff General Shavindra Silva to spearhead its prompt preparation. He also instructed officials to develop and submit the program swiftly. Chief of Defence Staff General Shavindra Silva, along with a group of senior officers from the Road Development Authority and officials of the STF, participated in the meeting. Minister Mahinda Amaravira says prompt action is being taken to promote the rubber cultivation in Sri Lanka. He said measures will also be taken to develop the quality of Sri Lankan tea. The government has also installed a new department for promoting cinnamon cultivation. The Minister of Plantation, Mahinda Amaravira, stated that the country is currently earning a large income from the export of tea, rubber and cinnamon products. The Minister said that his ministry would extend its fullest support to the President's program to develop the country's manufacturing sector and that the present government has a definite long-term plan to develop the country's manufacturing sector and the export agriculture. He said measures will also be taken to popularize agriculture among the younger generation. The Disaster Management Centre said 2-minute silence will be observed from 9:25 am to 9:27 am tomorrow, island-wide, as a mark of respect to those who lost their lives in a tsunami disaster. Tsunami waves hit the coastal belt of Sri Lanka on the 26th of December 2004. Tomorrow, 26th of December, marks the 19th anniversary of the 2004 Boxing Day tsunami. According to analysts, it was one of the world's deadliest and most destructive natural disasters which impacted over 10 countries in the Indian Ocean. This news broadcast comes to you from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. 14 Sri Lankan nationals were repatriated from French island of Reunion on December 22nd. They were repatriated after attempting to migrate illegally by sea. The French authorities said the group were ranging from 21 to 60-year-olds. Upon apprehension, the French authorities repatriated the group aboard UU-0050 aircraft. The Department of Immigration and Immigration said the Sri Lanka police are now conducting legal proceedings against them. The Sri Lanka Navy emphasizes the French government's strict stance against illegal immigration to Reunion. Police urge the public to avoid engaging with human traffickers who exploit desperate individuals with false promises of a better life overseas. The Sri Pada pilgrim season 2023-2024 will commence tomorrow on Undua Full Moon Poya Day. The casket of sacred relics and the statue of a deity is now being taken in 3 processions from Galpottawala Sri Pada Raja Mahaviharaya in Palmadulla. Chief incumbent of Sri Pada Sthana, Venerable Bengamwe Dhammadinna Thero, says that the processions are scheduled to proceed through Ratnapura, Palabatgala and Ratna route, Ratnapura, Avissavel and Hatton route, and Balangoda, Bogavantalawa route. The 3 processions are scheduled to reach Udamaluwa of the Sri Pada this evening, and the pilgrim season would commence after performing the traditional rituals. And that ends local news for now. The main news
story is brought to you by Sinhala.
The Governor of the Central Bank, Dr. Nandalal Veerasinghe, says that the proposed State Financial Management Act will help stabilize the state financial policies in the country. The Finance Ministry is now drafting the act. The Governor expressed hope that the new act will lead to strong laws and institutions. He added that the new act will strengthen the central bank as well. He said employment and stock of purchase have also increased on a month-on-month basis in line with improvements in new orders and production. And that was the main news story.
The main news story was brought to you by Sinhala.
This is Watchlight.
Police instructs all road users to adhere to traffic regulations and ensure their vehicles are in a roadworthy condition before setting off on their journeys. Police stress the importance of refraining from driving under the influence of alcohol. Paying special attention for the festive season, authorities urge all pedestrians to cross at places designated for crossing the road. And that came to you in Watchlight.
Coming up, World News.
The headlines first. UNICEF says Gaza has become a graveyard for thousands of children. Israeli forces say they are expanding their military operations in southern Gaza. Children in Bethlehem call for solidarity with Palestinians on Christmas Eve. UNICEF says Gaza has become a graveyard for thousands of children. It said it's a living hell for everyone else. UNICEF said more than 1 million children in Gaza have a water crisis. Gaza's water production capacity is a mere 5% of its usual daily output. Child deaths, particularly infants, to dehydration are a growing threat. From the earliest days of the hostilities in the Gaza Strip, UNICEF has been requesting on the need for an immediate humanitarian ceasefire, for the aid to flow and for children abducted to be released. UNICEF said the numbers are appalling. According to UNICEF, more than 3,450 children killed, and the number is rising significantly every day. Israeli forces say they are expanding their military operations in southern Gaza. The Israeli military spokesperson Daniel Hagari said on Sunday that its troops are uncovering tunnels and killing Hamas fighters in Khan Yunis. He said they will continue to step up operations in the coming days. Hagari also announced the deaths of 10 Israeli soldiers. Health authorities in Gaza said an Israeli airstrike killed at least 70 people at the Magalsi refugee camp in central Gaza. A video posted on social media by the Palestinian Red Crescent Society shows rescue operations by its teams. Some people are believed to be trapped under debris. Meanwhile, Reuters news agency said many of the victims were women and children. Health authorities denounced the attack, calling it a massacre committed in a crowded residential area. Children in the West Bank city of Bethlehem called for solidarity with the Palestinian people. On Sunday, 5 Palestinian children alternately read out their messages for the children of the world in 5 different languages at the square in front of Church of Nativity. The church stands on what is believed to be the birthplace of the Jesus Christ. A 14-year-old girl living in Bethlehem delivered her speech in English. She said her family and neighbors have been under attack and they are seeking peace. She called on children across the world to speak up to bring about change for the human race. She wrapped up her speech by saying children in Gaza deserve to be free. People gathered for the event unfurled a gigantic Palestinian flag measuring 20 meters long at the center of the square in protest of Israeli aggression. Back to the headlines of the world news. UNICEF says Gaza has become a graveyard for thousands of children. Israeli forces say they are expanding their military operations in southern Gaza. Children in Bethlehem call for solidarity with Palestinians on Christmas Eve. And that ends World News.
Development News.
SOS Children's Village Sri Lanka has announced the relaunch of its transformative movement in Youth Can. The program focuses on employability and skills development of the youth with a special emphasis on those who lack adequate parental care. The chief guest for the relaunch event was former Test cricketer Roshan Mahanama, and it was held recently at the Ramada Hotel in Colombo. The beneficiaries of the Youth Can are young people aged 14 and upwards who are seeking guidance, support and training to enhance their employability and life skills. The Youth Can, organizers said their program's central mission is to support young people in various facets, focusing on empowerment through interventions including employability, skills development and personal growth. Mentoring and vocational training support for the youth will also be provided by the SOS. And that is Development News.
Moving on with sports news.
The National Road Cycling Championship concluded successfully in Puttlam recently. Shamod De Silva emerged victorious in men's category, clocking in at 3 hours and 40 minutes. Niran Pasindu and Ashen Tarula, both from the Gampaha district, secured the second and third positions respectively. In the parallel women's race, Dinesh Dilrukshi of Puttlam claimed the top spot with a time of 1 hour 20 minutes. Panchali Sulochan from Gampaha and Anne Shenali from the Gampaha secured the second and third positions respectively. Organizers said there were 44 racers for the men's event and it covered 150.5 kilometers. The women's event, spanning 45.2 kilometers, had 23 participants, they added. And that was sports news.
May this Christmas bring happiness, love, peace and success to you and your family. Merry Christmas. National Savings Bank.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
Japanese automaker Daihatsu Motor Company suspended operations at 3 of its 4 assembly plants in the country on Monday in the wake of revelations of test data irregularities. The 3 plants in the Shiga, Kyoto and Oita prefectures. The firm plans to suspend the remaining plant in Osaka on Tuesday. The carmaker announced last week that it would suspend domestic shipments of all models following the discovery of 174 additional data irregularities for 64 models. The data was used to obtain government certification. The 4 plants produced more than 920,000 vehicles in fiscal year 2022. Suspending operations for a month would cause a drop in annual output of about 70,000 units. And that was business news.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
May this Christmas bring happiness, love, peace and success to you and your family. Merry Christmas. National Savings Bank.
And now in economic news.
The Sri Lanka Tourism Development Authority (SLTDA) says Sri Lanka received over 1.4 million tourists by the end of third week of December. According to the latest statistics released on Saturday, shows that 1,404,990 tourists have arrived by December 21, 2023. According to the report, 128,047 tourists arrived in Sri Lanka between December 1st and 21st of December. The SLTDA data showed in 2022, Sri Lanka only received 719,978 tourists for the whole year. The authority said India, Russia, Britain, Germany, Australia and China are among the top source markets in December. And that is economic news.
Weather report.
The Department of Meteorology says several spells of light showers will occur in the northern, eastern and Uva provinces, and a few showers can be expected in North Central province. Showers or thunder showers may occur at a few places in the western and Sabaragamu province and in the Gaul and Matra district after 2 p.m. Fairly strong winds of about 30 to 40 kilometers per hour can be expected at times in the eastern slopes of the Central Hills and the North Central province. Misty conditions can be expected in some places in the morning in the Sabaragamuwa, Central and Western provinces and in the Galle and Mathura districts. The department added showers or thundershowers may occur at a few places in the sea areas of the coast extending from Kanke Santure to Hambantota via Trincomalee, Batticaloa and Pothuwil. And that was the report. Prior to concluding this news broadcast, the headlines once again. The government focuses on removing the STF from highway duties. Minister Mahinda Amaravira says prompt action is being taken to promote rubber cultivation in Sri Lanka. Tomorrow marks the 90th anniversary of the 2004 Boxing Day tsunami. 14 Sri Lankan nationals repatriated from the French island of Reunion. The Sripada pilgrim season will commence tomorrow. And UNICEF says Gaza has become a graveyard for thousands of children. Well, with that, we end this news broadcast from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. And let me take this opportunity to wish Chandima, as well as all the listeners out there, a very Merry Christmas.